segment of On the Couch with the Rockbridge Roundtable. We are your hosts. I'm Jiho Lee.
I'm Cam Fuller.
I'm Forrest Khan.
And today we're going to be talking about the fans in sports in high school and college and on the professional level. Now, as many of you know, in the wild card game of the American League that featured the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles, Baltimore Orioles left fielder Hyun-Soo Kim was catching a fly ball when a fan in the bleachers threw I believe it was a cup of beer.
Yeah, it was like a cup of beer, like kind of looked like a can of some sort.
Was trying to disorient Kim from catching the ball. He caught the ball. The fan ran away, wasn't caught by the police, but they're on the chase. And so we're just going to be talking about our reaction to that event and kind of talking about the role of fans in sports moving forward. So, Forrest, how do you think events like this can be a detriment to the world of sports in general?
Well, first of all, I think we can all establish that this was a pretty unfortunate event and it should not have happened. And this isn't the first time that beer has been thrown onto the field, onto MLB game. I remember back in 2012 in a wild card game against the Cardinals and the which one was it?
Dodgers? Maybe. I don't know.
Probably Dodgers.
Yeah, I have no clue.
A fan threw I believe it was a beer bottle on the field, much like what happened a couple of days ago in the game against the Blue Jays. And I just believe that overall, things like this basically just ruin a team's reputation and an organization's reputation. Like the Blue Jays are now pretty much notorious and have a negative connotation that, oh, this is the team that had this fan that threw this beer bottle onto the field. And I just think that it's pretty unfortunate that the Blue Jays have this connotation and that everyone is now going to overlook all of the accomplishments that they've achieved throughout their time, and for a while people are going to be just associating the team with that rowdy fan who was just decided to throw the beer bottle just to ruin the vibe of the game.
Yeah.
And I think it's particularly unfortunate because as a whole, the Rogers Center is an incredible atmosphere to watch baseball. And it's kind of like that one bad apple ruins the entire basket. But that's exactly what it is, Forrest. You know, it's unfortunate, but that's what happens. And I think it also, from a more meta perspective, I guess you could say, it creates a negative connotation for the sport. Because people who are, say, NBA fans or NFL fans, they'll think about this event and they'll say, man, all baseball fans are like this, which is simply not the case. And so that's very unfortunate, like you said. But I wanted to take some time to talk about how fans should act. And it's one of those things that you think is obvious, but obviously it's not. In Korea, in Korean baseball, every fan is given like a set of noisemakers. They just go crazy, just clapping these noisemakers. And I'm not saying that it's a thing that the major leagues in the United States should implement. But there are so many ways to support a team, to support your team, without tearing down the opponent. And that's the case in high school and college and on a professional level. And so I think if every fan kind of just looked at themselves in the mirror and said, like, what am I here to do? If I'm going to a game, what is my purpose? I think if every fan kind of realized that they're there to support their team, to enjoy and appreciate the highest levels of athletic ability, and if that was their purpose, rather than to tear down, to injure, or to deter the other team, I think that would just make the world of sports a lot healthier.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think it's really truly a privilege that we get to watch sports like as we do. It's not something where we're just watching on TV. We get to be there and be a part of the action. We get to cheer on the teams that we love, and I think the problem that I can see coming from stuff like this happening, that keeps happening, is possibly we look at baseball, basketball, any scenario where the fans and the players don't have a separator in between them, that separator is very close to being implemented. I really do think that, you know, if stuff like this continues to happen, you're going to see a giant, you know, kind of like silk, like net or whatever, you know, some kind of like, you know, thin net in between where the fans are and where the field is, because, you know, you don't want that that crazy moment to happen where you have somehow a, you know, fan throwing a beer bottle and it hitting someone and truly affecting the game. I think everyone can kind of remember maybe probably the most infamous fan interaction with an actual game that ended up really did affect the game was Steve Bartman. You know, probably didn't mean to, you know, get in the way of the outfielder going up and trying to catch the ball that ended up being called a foul ball, but, you know, still nonetheless it became this whole thing of where, you know, Cubs fans have to look at that as, you know, the reason that they may not have a World Series ring right now. So, you know, nonetheless, I would hope that people, you know, don't continue this, but honestly, if they do, you know, we're going to see some kind of separator, and we're going to see some kind of, you know, or we're going to really see just kind of a less of an impact of fans in professional and amateur sports looking forward. So,
yes, that is very unfortunate, but I guess all we can do is just hope that every fan in the world, especially in this country, can kind of take a step back and realize their role in the world of sports.
Totally.
That's all that we have for this week. I'm Jiho Lee.
I'm Cam Fuller.
And I'm Forrest.
And we'll see you guys next week.